Welcome to Tiny Storybook Adventures. The Giraffe Who Found Her Place.
Once upon a time, there lived a tall and kind giraffe named Grace. Grace loved her home and wanted to make friends with everyone, but the villagers didn't always understand her. One bright and sunny morning, Grace decided to go into town. Her long neck stretched high above the rooftops as she walked down the street. First, she stopped by the bakery, her eyes sparkling at the fresh, warm muffins on display.
Yum!
But the baker frowned and said, "No muffins for giraffes." Next, she went to the toy shop, hoping to buy a colourful kite to fly in the park. But the toy seller shook her head. "Sorry, no kites for giraffes!" Grace sighed and looked around. Where could she go where she wasn't turned away? She wandered down to the park, thinking maybe she could play on the swings. But when she tried to sit, the swings were too small for her long legs. "Giraffes can't use the swings," people whispered, and Grace felt lonelier than ever. Just then, as she stood by the playground, a tiny bird flew down and perched gently on her head. "Don't feel bad, Grace," chirped the bird. As they sat together, someone in the crowd shouted, "Hey, did that giraffe steal the bird?" Grace was shocked. No, this bird just likes me," she said softly. But the villagers started to gather, and some didn't believe her. They even brought Grace to the village square for a big meeting. "I didn't take the bird," Grace explained again, but people murmured and pointed. Suddenly, boom! Crash! A loud noise echoed through the streets. "Three! Fire! Fire!" someone yelled. Smoke began rising from the candy shop, and everyone started to run away in panic. But not Grace. With her long legs, she rushed toward the fire. She stretched her tall neck to pull down a big, heavy bucket from a tree and raced to the fountain to fill it with water. She dashed back and forth, tossing water onto the flames until, sizzle, the fire was out. The villagers were amazed. Grace had saved the candy shop. They all gathered around, cheering, "Hooray for Grace!" From that day on, everything changed. Grace was no longer treated as an outsider. She could visit the bakery and buy all the muffins she wanted. The toy shop made her a kite tall enough for her long neck. And the little bird? It still loved resting on Grace's head, and no one ever questioned their friendship again. Now, Grace knew she didn't need to change who she was to belong. The villagers had learned to love her just the way she was. The end.